Hello guys, this is Pokemon Legend Tips, and today we're gonna have another awesome tutorial. But before we dive into the real deal, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, ask us whatever you need, and we will try to help you as much as we can. And even better, join us in Facebook. We post a lot of stuff in there, it's gonna be awesome if you just do. So what we're gonna be doing today is reviewing the Psy team or Cyclic team, and we're just gonna call it Psy today, so it's much easier for me. Well, the Psy team, as you know, is one of the most solid and powerful teams in the game. Since the game started, the Psychic team has been just amazing, and it will stay amazing until probably it ends. There is a lot of Pokemons that are just super useful and super strong. So, for the Psychic team, of course, everyone knows this. It revolves around Lele. She's the buffer, and she's just super awesome. She has great skill. Her talent buff can be used even in other teams as well, and will be used in other teams soon enough after the next update. And she's just getting more and more buffed each time. So yeah, that's that. So that spot is pretty much taken. You cannot take her out of there. So for the other spots, I would say Deoxys is a given, the greatest damager in Psychic team. Some might argue that Solgaleo, Lunala might do the same job, but Deoxys is just too nice. Why? Because he basically have a lot of versatility. I would say you can use him in speed form, you can use him in attack form, sometimes even in defense form if you need in some dungeons. Then yeah, he's pretty much, and his fury in attack form is just too OP. He has 250 damage for God's sake, 250 skill power. That's just great. Okay, so let's talk. The third spot is debatable. Okay, the third spot depends really on whatever you want to do with your team. So if you want your team to be more damaging, so you want to go there for another hitter, so you can go for Solgaleo. So let's just remove this thing from here. Select Psychic teams. So you can go for either Solgaleo. I think I have him somewhere. Solgaleo is pretty much nice. He's steel. He has a steel element, so he's really good against some new teams that will be up soon in the next update. And he has a great damage as well. He doesn't care about shields, so he has great skills. You can use Lunala as well, which is Ghost. She's immune to a lot of Pokemons, and as well has poisonous skills. So that's another Pokemon that can give you a lot of damage. But if you want crowd control, I would say you can go for Meloetta. So she is again one of the most useful Pokemon in Psychic team. She's really useful in dungeons, in Battle Tower, in head-to-head in manual. Even though her AI a little bit sucks in the game, but it will get improved hopefully. And in the next few updates, in the Chinese update that just came out in 2.0, 2.01 actually, then she's getting an evolution, and she will become even much better, since most of her moves will not be waking the enemy anymore, so her AI will get fixed. And that's just really nice. It will be really hard to actually counter that unless you have some good skills. Okay, again, the classic Celebi. Celebi is just Celebi is Celebi. The most, I would say, the best support in the game in terms of general support. You can just put him in any team, and he will just be fine. So if you want to use him, you can actually use him in this team as well. He will provide just awesome support as he does. But now with the update, I would actually give this spot to Yuxi, and I don't have her yet, sadly. But I will definitely in the next event when it's a good event. So let's check her out. So this is gonna be the next big thing in this update. So if you want to go for a Psychic team, then you definitely need her. She's just gonna make the Psychic team, as we say, broken, which means overpowerful. Again, her ability, passive ability, is whoever makes her super nice. Not only that, but still it makes her like super nice. Every time a Pokemon will use Psychic attack, it will increase the friendly Pokemon speed by 8% and can stack up to 3 times, which means in 3 rounds you will get 24% speed, and that is just awesome. If you have, for example, Regigas there and maybe Speed Deoxys, which can reach 20k speed easy, then just imagine the amount of shields you will have. So that's just too good. Also, her Fury is kind of nice. She will provide immunity to death for 1 round, and it will increase as well it will improve or recover the HP of 60% for your team. She will provide a lot of nice support, some debuffs as well. So she's just really great. So this is the next big thing in the Psychic team. So right now let's talk about the teams that our Psychic teams are good against. Well, I would say good against everybody. Literally, like every single team out there can be taken down with a good Psychic team. So like for example, BNV, Black and White Kyurem, you can take them with Meloetta. And if you want you to take out an Electric team, then you should definitely go for Celebi, for example, that can take out the Electric team. If you want to take, sometimes you will have difficulties, for example, Ground team, then use Meloetta again. She will of course make them sleep, and you can use Deoxys attack Fury to make it to do a lot of damage. So yeah, Psychic team is really against. There is not a lot of good teams right now in the meta that can actually put problems to it. There will be a Dark team later on, but that's not. It's really far away, I would say. So that's one of the teams that might cause problems to the Psychic team. Another team that might cause, you can check actually here which team will cause problems. You can see the Dark elements have double attack against if attacked they will have double damage. Ghost teams have double damage as well, and Bug teams does have double damage as well. So these are, but again, these teams are not here yet. So again, they're not here yet, which means you will be able to do just fine. You can see that Psychic are not good against Psychic, and again the attack of Psychic is halved against Steel, and they are good against Fighting. Okay, but that's Fighting. We don't have a lot of those again. Bug, there will be Bug. There is a Bug team coming out, but again, not a lot of people are using it, so I'd say you're pretty fine so far. Ghost, until Giratina Origin is out, nobody gonna use that. So again, you're fine there. Dark, there is not a lot of Dark Pokemons out there, so again, you are fine. So let's say, how can we counter it? I would say if you want to counter, if there is a lot of side team in your server, it's simple. You should get a good support, which means Yuxi or Celebi. If you want to counter Psychic teams, then change this guy into Speed mode. When you change this guy into Speed mode, he gains Dark attacks, which is this, yes, Dark type attack. And he gains huge speed. So in battle, he will have just huge speed. He can reach, at my level right now, my Deoxys can literally reach 20k in battle, which is just huge. And I have a bad personality because it was from Capsule. So just imagine if with a good personality and with a good build, how good he will be. So this is the only way to actually take down Psychic teams really easy. He heals a lot, and he's good against Psychic because of his Dark moves, and he will be using his Dark move a lot. His Fury let him move twice. So I think this is the only reasonable time you should use Deoxys Speed if you don't have another damager. So if you remove if you want to use Speed Form Deoxys, then either you need a good damager as well, because he doesn't give a lot of damage into against other teams. So the only good use of Deoxys Speed is actually against Psy teams. Otherwise, he will not provide a lot of damage, which is pretty bad. So against, for example, if you just try to use him against, I don't know, Fly team, or try to use him against Water team, then he will not do a lot of damage per round, then you might lose that match. So I would recommend to use him in his attack form if you are facing any other team except Psy. And even in attack form, he would provide decent damage against Psychic as well. Okay, so we covered that. The defense form, I wouldn't actually recommend that unless you are doing some dungeon. Actually, I've passed a dungeon with defense form in master mode, but that's again really rare when you really need to defend some position or something. Then that's pretty much it. His defense form is not that good actually. So because basically psychic defense are not that great. Okay, I think we covered most of it. The builds. Let's talk about the builds. Lele, she's a support and has a good damage, so you might want to increase her healing because you want her to stay alive as much as possible, increase her speed as much as possible. So I will just show you easy build that you can do. Let's see the hidden skills. Where is it? It's here. So this is fine enough. You could put this into, you can actually remove this if you want and put some attack if you want, special attack. She still provides decent damage, you know, so that's something that you can do. You can remove this and put some special attack boost, or boost the defense as well. So with this kind of builds, she will survive a lot during the game. For Deoxys, I would recommend to use, depending on what you're going to use, of course, but I would recommend to use a lot of damage output, some healing as well, especially if you're going to use them in speed form. Then healing is, synthesis will be just great. Of course, you need to put all 4, but if you don't have it, just put 3. That would just do fine. This should be removed and something else should be put in there. Either increases defense a bit, or of course increases damage, because we want him to be as the good damage dealer. Which personality to go for? A lot of people ask this again. For Deoxys, I would say depends on the use. If you want either modest or timid are fine. So you definitely need one of those. So either modest or timid. So if you have modest and you want to use speed Deoxys, then you definitely need to put maybe speed boost or dragon whisper, depending on your preferences. There is not like a general rule, the best form. Of course, everything is relative to the use, to the teammates, to the situation as well. Other honorable mentions that we can say, of course, this is the best, I would say. This is the best setup for Psychic team if you put this in attack form. And of course, where is the attack form? Should be somewhere here. Yes, and you put Yuxi here. I think this would be really nice Psychic team for this update. If you want to move from the classics and get other Psychic teams, I would recommend using a crowd control teams, which is something like this. This is actually you should put Lele here. So yes, so this is a good, again, crowd control team. With Yuxi can be as fine here as well. Another Pokemon that can be fine here is Cresselia. Cresselia can be as fine as Celebi in that position. It can even replace Celebi in most of the stuff she does. So she's a good support as well. But you need to make sure that you built her well. Okay, so yes, this is a good crowd control team. And so far, there is not a lot of ways to counter crowd control except the healing badge. You need the healing badge with this. So there is not a lot of ways to counter this unless you have a good support that can do that, which is Coco or Celebi. And this can take down teams that are just double your power, maybe, or even more, especially BNV, for example. So yeah. So I think we covered a lot in this tutorial and we've talked a lot. Hopefully I would probably do a second part because Psychic teams had a lot of stuff to do, a lot of topics to talk about it. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. If you have any questions or suggestions, just drop them in the comments and we'll gladly help you.